All right, it is the Lombardi Sunday evening reset, getting you ready for the next week and 49ers happenings. And the big news right now, and I think the most pertinent news, remains Robbie Gould, who told Adam Schefter on Saturday that he does not intend to re sign with the 49ers next season. So Gould says this, but we can't forget what happened in 2019 when Robbie Gould also threatened an exit of sorts. It was a different situation in 2019, but let me refresh you on what happened because I think it's appropriate context for the situation at play right now, because there is a chance that both Robbie Gould and the 49ers are bluffing and that they ultimately end up back together next season after Gould signs yet another contract with the 49ers. Is it likely? I'm not so sure. Yesterday I said it's very likely that Gould is done. According to what he said, I think that pushes you in that direction. But we also have to remember history here. Robbie Gould has been a player who's pushed a hard bargain in the past, and the 49ers, I think, have every incentive to be pushing for a hard bargain here as well. And both sides have already indicated as much. They're going to be playing hardball in these negotiations. So why don't we take a look at the history of what's happened here? Maybe use it to contextualize what might be happening in this 2023 instance, because things are different this time with the franchise tag having been applied in 2019 and at least not yet applied here in 2023. I don't think the 49ers will apply it, but it still is on the table. So things are different. Gould is older, but we can still learn a lot from the past here as we analyze the 49ers kicker plans in the present moving into the future. So in 2019, Robbie Gould had just finished up a 2-year, $4 million contract with the 49ers, $4 million per year. He'd been the most accurate kicker in football over those two seasons, 2017 and 2018. His percentage is a little bit over 96%, which was better even than Justin Tucker's, and Tucker is considered the best kicker in the game. The 49ers wanted to keep Robbie Gould, who was 36 at the time. Robbie Gould wanted to, fight for the best deal possible. And he also said that he wanted to be closer to home in Chicago, where his family and his 3 sons reside. So Robbie Gould was in a spot where the 49ers, according to some reports, had pursued Steven Gostowski, the former Patriots kicker, when Robbie Gould hadn't yet signed any of the offer sheets the 49ers had sent him. The 49ers were trying to negotiate a long-term deal with Robbie. He was a little slow to sign. 49ers started looking for other kickers. Robbie wasn't very happy about that, and the 49ers ended up slapping the franchise tag on Robbie Gould, which would have forced him essentially to be part of the 49ers in the 2019 season or not play at all, and Robbie Gould decided to hold out. If we go back to some of the rhetoric that was being said at the time, this has obviously happened after that in 2022 in Lambeau Field, but this is from ESPN.com. Gould's agent, Brian Mackler, said, at this time, we are unsure when or if he will report to the 49ers facility, of course. It will not be prior to September 8th at the earliest, if at all. I'm reading from the article now. The 36-year-old Gould indicated that he has gotten tired of 14 months of contract negotiations and wants to be closer to his wife and children in Chicago. After 11 years with the Bears, Gould was released. He spent 2016 with the New York Giants before signing a 2-year deal with the Niners. As I said, Gould's wife and 3 boys under age 5 at the time stayed in Chicago. So that's what Gould's camp was saying at the time. The 49ers at the time were saying this in response to Robbie Gould. This is John Lynch. Robbie's going to be part of us this coming year. I know that, John Lynch said on Monday. We would like it to be longer than that. We've made an attempt to make that happen. We haven't come to an agreement as of yet, and we'll see where that goes. But Robbie will be a part of us this coming year. We're excited for that because he's very good at what he does, and he's also a big part of this team. So the 49ers were steadfast back then in their belief that that holdout situation would be resolved. They knew that they held the cards in that situation, that Gould wanted to play, not burn a year at a relatively advanced age. They figured he'd report before training camp and that he'd maybe even sign a long-term deal. That happened. That exactly happened. Gould signed for 4 years, $19 million, $4.75 million per year. That contract is expired, so now we're back at square one, right? This is sort of what was going on in that 2019 offseason, except now the franchise tag would be more expensive for Robbie Gould due to NFL rule. Back then, I think the franchise tag was somewhere between $4 and $5 million. The tag price is the average of the 5 most expensive contracts at any given position. So the tag price would be the average of the 5 most expensive kicker contracts, which you currently see average per year right here. It's Justin Tucker, Jason Myers, Chris Boswell, Younghoe Koo, and Graham Gano. That average is combined to form the kicker franchise tag, except by rule, since Robbie Gould is being franchised for the would be being franchised for the second time. I don't know if the 49ers are going to do it. Probably not. But since he'd be franchised for the second time by the 49ers, it is a 20% price increase. So the tag this time would be $6.5 million for Robbie Gould if the 49ers were to follow a similar script as they did in 2019. Well, if you look here, $6.5 million, that'd be more than even Justin Tucker makes. And Robbie Gould is 40 years old. So the tag immediately would be a bad deal for the 49ers, especially since you couldn't defer any of the money to future years by spreading it out, since the franchise tag is only a 1-year deal. So the 49ers, John Lynch said this at the NFL Combine last week, 49ers are not in a position where they would like to franchise tag Robbie Gould. Robbie Gould might even enjoy a franchise tag because it'd bring him way more guaranteed money at age 40 than any other deal would. So franchise tag deadline's Tuesday, probably not going to happen at the price of $6.5 million. So what does Robbie Gould want? Well, I think he wants to be paid as a top 5 kicker at the age of 40. So, and maybe even more than that. Let's look at this. Top 5 kicker, you have Tucker, Myers, Boswell, Koo, and Gano. Gano is at $4.7 million. That's right around what Gould was making on his previous contract at $4.75 million. So Gould, I think, quite obviously wants to be in this top 5 range. I think even more than that, he wants to be in the top 3 range, which would mean at least $5 million per year. Now, keep in mind, 49ers have somewhere between $6 and $8 million in cap space right now. So while Gould wants this, the 49ers want this. They likely don't want to pay Gould as a top 5 kicker. They likely want to pay, given their cap situation, they want to pay Gould as a top 12 kicker. Top 12, look at the cutoff here, is Ryan Suckup, former Mr. Irrelevant, just like Brock Purdy, at $4 million per year. This is all theory from me, but as you can see there, number 12 is down at $4 million. I think the 49ers would be happy bringing Robbie Gould back at $4 million per year, maybe for 2 seasons, because he's 40 years old. Performance can start to dip. I think Robbie Gould probably wants 3 seasons, at least at this point of his career. He signed a 4-year deal last time, so he probably wants 3 seasons over $5 million. There's a gap there, right? Can those 2 sides meet that gap? Well, according to what Robbie Gould told Adam Schefter the other day, that bridge is already burnt. He won't even, attempt to see if the 49ers will meet that gap. And the 49ers are saying, we scouted all these kickers at the NFL Combine. We like Jake Moody. We like Jack Podlesny. We like, that there's a number of other kickers they could potentially draft. Maybe they even like a veteran. They say, the hell with it. We're not going to pay a 40-year-old kicker over $5 million per year. We're going to go our own way. But these could be bluffs from both sides. So you can never say never in the NFL. You could never say never in 2019. I think you can never say never now. And I wanted to make a video illustrating that both sides have incentive to bluff in this situation. The 49ers obviously don't want to pay Gould top dollar because of their salary cap situation, but they might want to retain Gould because he's been so damn good in the playoffs, 29 of 29. And he's been ice. He's been money. I mean, for a playoff team, that's nothing to joke about. You don't want to hit another Cody Parkey situation, which happened to the Bears after they released Robbie Gould in 2016. Disaster struck in the playoffs, the double doink in 2018. So it's a situation where the 49ers have incentive to keep Gould, but they also have incentive to avoid the risk of paying him too much, given their cap situation and given their age. And I think that Gould has plenty of incentive to stay with the 49ers too. He says he wants to be in the Hall of Fame. He says that he wants to win a Super Bowl. Well, the team that you've kicked with the past 6 years probably would give you the best avenue to accomplishing both of those goals. But there's a delta, not only on the price tag, but also the stuff that is influencing the price tag. The 49ers aren't in Chicago. Robbie Gould might want to be there. I essentially think that we're seeing a lot of the 2019 drama replay itself, except this time the 49ers have less of a contractual hold on the situation because they're unwilling to pay this much for a franchise tag. The franchise tag was a good negotiating tool last time. The 49ers slapped it on Robbie Gould. Then they negotiated. He never played on the tag. But the 49ers were willing to at least bluff with the franchise tag in 2019. I don't think they're willing to bluff with $6.5 million. Because if Gould signs that and he doesn't negotiate anymore, you got to pay $6.5 for a kicker in 2023. I don't think the 49ers are willing to do that. I think Robbie would take that right away. So the 49ers want to get Gould. I think at 3 years, $4 million per year would be their max. If they could negotiate a hard bargain here, if the rest of the league looks at Robbie Gould and says, hey, we've seen a few injuries over the past few years. The kickoffs aren't as deep as we'd like them to be. We need a guy that can kick off deep and can make all the field goals that you do and maybe even drill a few 55 to 60 yarders. We don't think you're worth $4 million per year. And the 49ers are the one team that is able to give Robbie Gould the most competitive offer. This story might not be done yet. That's what I'm talking about, bluffing from both sides. But as of right now, both sides are going to feel each other out. They're going to see, what the market is, not only for Robbie Gould with other NFL teams looking for a kicker, but for the 49ers, they're one of the NFL teams looking for a kicker. They're going to look at that market without Robbie Gould, and we'll have a semblance of deadline pressure coming up at some point during free agency before all the kicker musical chairs are filled ahead of the draft, right? Because ahead of the draft, you got to make up your mind which way you're going to go. If Jake Moody is going to be picked in the 3rd or 4th round, which is a valuable pick, well, you're not going to also want to have Robbie Gould on the roster, right? You have to make your choice if you're the 49ers at some point before then, if you're going to go that rookie route. So, it's going to be another stare down. And I think that, what we heard Robbie Gould tell Adam Schefter is really reminiscent of what happened in 2019. And he came back to the 49ers. The difference now, of course, is the lack of that franchise tag and the fact that Gould is 40, which gives the 49ers greater incentive to move on to another kicker. And they may actually go that route. That might be the more likely route. It's just a wait and see time before we hit the crux of free agency. All right, just wanted to explain that. If Robbie Gould comes back, maybe you get more memories like this. Even if he doesn't, you still have memories like that in Green Bay when he drilled that kick in the ice. Thanks for watching. That's been the Lombardi Sunday Reset. Brock Purdy surgery also supposed to happen this week, so keep an eye on all this stuff. Franchise tag deadline Tuesday, Purdy surgery some point this week. We'll come with news when that happens. A lot of good food from around San Francisco. I will be in the city throughout the week. It's going to be a fun time, so everybody buckle up as we approach the new league year. Take care. Have a great Sunday night.